Hello everyone, welcome to Eduxcite classes. My name is Monit, and in today's session we are solving the MYP Physics e-assessment of May 2023. Okay, so you can see on the screen these are the instructions. Just pause the video and you can just go through these instructions and then we will start. Okay. Okay, now let us start. Now this is an IB examiner portal I have received from the IBMYP Physics. Okay, so I will go through the things which you will need for your examination. You can see at the top, this is the calculator. Sorry, this is your highlighter if you want to highlight something. This is the calculator which you can use for all your calculations. I will also use the same so that you will get an idea how to use this calculator. These are the formula sheet. These are the only formula which are there in the particular paper. So you can just pause the video if you want. And these are the next set of formulas. And the last one. Okay, so these you can pause and you can take a screenshot if you want. So these are the formulas which will be there for your exams as well. This is the metric multipliers, which are nothing but the abbreviations and what does these abbreviations stand for. So you can also use if you have any doubt in any of the questions. You can pause the video and click a screenshot if you want. Okay, and this is the periodic table. In case if you need any of the information regarding to any elements in the periodic table, you can just click, like for example carbon. So atomic number is 6, relative atomic mass is 12. So wherever you click, you will get the details of the atomic number and their relative atomic masses. Okay, so this is all is given in your at the top. These are the 8 questions for this particular year. So we will start with the question number 1 and we will follow the same. Now only one thing is, please share this video with all your friends in the classmate, and if you want one-to-one session, you can click on the link given in the description to get more about how to enroll for the classes. Okay, so let us start with question number 1. So you can see here, horses can perform work for farming activities. In the past, they were used to loosen the soil before planting. Physics can be used to explore the ways in which horses complete these tasks. So the very first question is, a horse covers a distance of 3 km in 45 minutes. We have to calculate the speed in km per hour. Now if you look, the distance is already given in kilometer and the time is in 45 minutes. So what I can say is time equals to 45 minutes, which is also equals to 45 divided by 60 hour. So that will be equal to 0.75 hour. You can do the calculations if you want, it's a simple one. Whereas the distance is equals to 3 kilometers, so speed is equals to, we know that distance over time, so speed will be equals to 3 divided by 0.75. So which is nothing but, if you do this calculation, it's a simple one, or you can use a calculator if you want. It will be 4 km per hour or 4 km hr. Then you can say -1, which you can use like this. So it will be the answer. Okay, now question 1b, the power is the rate of transforming energy or the rate of doing work. Select the formula for the energy transferred. So you can use the data booklet if you want. So if you go to the power is work done upon time, and work done is also equivalent to the energy. So energy will be power into time, right? So energy will be power times T. So option C will be the right answer. Now question 1c, there are data for the two horses A and B. Mass of A is given, weight we have to calculate, and assuming g as 10, so we know that weight is equals to mass times gravitational acceleration, so it will be 3500 Newton. Value is already given, and the mass, if weight is given, we can calculate the mass by dividing it by 10. So it's a very easy one. I hope everybody has got what, or you can write it down here as well. So this is the answer for 1C. If you have any doubt, just comment below. Okay. Now 1D, select the correct terms to complete the energy transformation. For a horse that starts from the rest at the bottom of the hill and runs up the hill and then stops at the top of the hill. So it is already given in between that kinetic energy is there. Okay, so first you can write down chemical potential energy, which is stored in the form of our body, that converted into kinetic, and as it is rising up, so that will be gaining the gravitational potential energy. Okay, so this will be the answer for 1D. Now if you look at the question 1E, the hill in part D is 12 meter high. Horse B reaches the top of the hill in 5.5 seconds. Now we have to use the information of the part C and the formula sheet to calculate the minimum power required for horse B to reach this height in kilowatt. So power, we can say power is equals to energy per unit time, and energy gain is because it stops at the top. So energy is gravitational potential energy, which is M. We know the formula, you can use the data booklet, mgh. So M, if you look at the B, it is 510, I think. Yeah, so mass is 510, G is 10 times height, or you can say height is 12 meter. So if I want to do this calculation, 510 times 10 times 12, so we got this 600, and so you can just copy this. I think there is an option. Yeah, so you can copy this and you can put it here in the form of equation like this. So you can, yeah, so this is here, so you can rub this, you can copy it from the calculator. So this is in joules, you can say. So now time is already given, so you can say power is equals to, again you can use the calculator, so 61200 divided by the time for it takes is 5.5, so 5.5, sorry, here 5.5. so your answer is, this will be in watt. So your answer, final answer, you can write power in, or power is equals to 1.127 kilowatt. So this will be your answer for question 1E. I hope it is quite clear. So this will be the way kilo will be in small, this one. Or if you round down to two significant figure, so it will be 11 kilowatt. Okay, so I think this is quite clear. Now 1F, the power of some modern device in given is horsepower. 1 horsepower is equivalent to 746 watt. Okay, so you can see here that this is equals to 746 watt. An example of such a device is water electric pump. Now we have to calculate the current. Now power we know is equals to V times I. You can check in the data booklet as well. Okay, so now I will be equals to power divided by voltage, or the potential difference. So we can use the horsepower is 2, so current will be equals to 2 times, we can say 2 times 746, which will give us in watts Okay, so 2 times 746 is 1492 divided by voltage is 230. So answer divided by 230. 230. So you can copy this and you can paste it here. So your answer will be I will be equals to 6 point, rounding off to 2 significant will be this 6.5 ampere. So you can answer like this. So I hope it is quite clear. Question number 1. If you have any doubt, just comment below. Okay. So let us now go to the question number 2. Now you can see here the Newton's carried out experiment on light. Working in his darkened room, he directed white light through a glass prism. This is a glass prism which separated the white light into 7 constituent colors. We know the 7 Vibgyor colors. Before Newton's experiment, scientists believed that the prism itself transformed white light into these colors. So we have to first do A is select the term for this process. This is nothing but the dispersion of white light into 7 colors. So the process is known as dispersion. So option D is the right answer. 2B, explain why red light is at the top of the image in part A. You should use scientific term. Now these are guys very important from your answering. You have to use the correct key terms whenever you answer. Don't answer in a very general way. Okay, so why red light is at the top of the image? Because the red light has the maximum wavelength, so it refracted the least. As a result, it takes very less time and moves out with little refraction. So we use the correct terminologies to answer this question. Okay. Now question 2C. Another scientist called Herschel detected infrared waves beyond the visible spectrum. Unlike red light, infrared waves are not visible to the human eye. State one other difference between the infrared waves and one is that it is not visible. We have to answer. So infrared waves are having shorter frequency than visible wave. You can say this is one of the difference you can mention. Okay, fine. Now question 2D. In air, all the colors of light in the spectrum travel at the same speed, which is 3 into 10 raised to power 8 meter per second. Use the formula sheet to calculate the frequency of the red light with the wavelength of 750 nanometer. You should use scientific notation, that is nothing but the standard form. Okay, so we know the V is equals to F lambda. Even if you want to go through it, I can show you the formula. Wave speed is wave speed times frequency times wavelength. Okay, and this nanometer, you have to convert this into meter. Nanometer is 10 raised to power minus 9, which you can see in the multipliers. Nano stands for 10 raised to power minus 9. Okay, so I can write down like V is equals to F times lambda. Okay, so this is the equation. So frequency will be equals to, you can say, we have to find out the frequency. So frequency will be equals to, now you can write down the speed, 3 into 10 raised to power 8 divided by 750 into 10 raised to power minus 9. So once you write down this, you can directly say frequency, you can do the calculation 3 into 10 raised to power 8, you should keep in bracket, divided by 750 nanometer, which is into 10 raised to power minus 9. So this will be 4 into 10 raised to power 14. Okay, so you can just put this as copy, and now you can, it is not coming like this anyway. So 4 into 10 raised to power 14, which you can keep it in square, then you can say it is in hertz. The unit for measuring frequency is hertz. Okay, so this will be your answer for question 2D. I hope question 2 is quite clear. If you have any doubt, just comment below. Now moving on to question 3. Now this is a quite easy one. The diagram shows the carbon 14. The red one represents proton, the grey one represents neutrons, and the blue one represents electron. State the atomic number and the mass number of this atom. So you can just count. It is already mentioned 6 protons is nothing but the atomic number. So atomic number is 6. Mass number is the sum of number of protons plus neutrons. So 6 plus 8 is nothing but 14. Okay, so this will be your answer. Now 3B, state one similarity and one difference between a nucleus of carbon 12 and a nucleus of carbon 14. So they are of the same element, so we can say they have same number of protons, that is the atomic number. Difference is they have different number of neutrons because mass number is different. So these are the isotopes having same number of protons but different mass number. Okay, now question 3C, select the terms to complete the key. If you look here, the produced from the nucleus of an atom. So if you know about the radioactivity, you might have learned that gamma rays are produced from the neutron, so from the nucleus, sorry. So this is the purple one will be nothing but the gamma rays, and the coming from the orientation of the electrons from different orbit is produced due to the X rays. Okay, so this will be your answer for question 3C. Now 3D, there is a nuclear reaction. So whenever the questions like this, always remember on the left hand side and on the right hand side the number of protons as well as the number of sum of protons and neutrons, that is the mass number and the atomic number. The bottom one is the atomic number, the upper one, this will be your mass number. Okay, so these has to be constant. So it is 234 here. So here 4 should be there. So alpha particle will be there. So uranium is converting into thorium plus emission of alpha particles. So you can now see it is conserved. 92 is equals to 90 plus 2, 238 is equals to 234 plus 4. Similarly, if you look at the below equation, now the thorium is converting, so there is no change in mass number. So there should be 0 and 0, but if you look at the atomic number, it increases by 1. So this will be this one. So it is increases by 1, so it has to be this minus 1. So if you 91 minus 1 will be equals to 90. Okay, now question 3E, suggest what is happening in the reaction shown below. So you can see the uranium and the, so you can say the neutron is absorbed by the nucleus of uranium. Okay, so there is nothing else is given, so we are not supposed to comment what else has been formed, but we can comment on what reaction is taking place. The neutron is absorbed by the uranium in order to initiate the nuclear fission process. Okay, so this is all about criteria A, question 1, 2, 3. If you have any doubt, just let me know. Now moving on to the criteria B and C, question number 4. Now if you look at, just pause the video and go through this question. Okay, now I am playing the animation.
The tip of the syringe is sealed so that the amount of air is constant. Masses are added and the plunger is pushed downwards, compressing the air in the syringe.
So this is the script. Okay, so nothing much into it. Now question number 4a, state the research question that could be answered in this investigation. So if you look at here, what we are doing is we are adding the mass and then the student adding the mass so that the temperature of the air remains constant, and investigate how the volume of air in a syringe. So we can say, how does the volume of gas changes with the amount of mass added, or you can say the weight. So we can say, how does the volume of gas changes with the amount of mass added over the syringe. Okay, so this is your research question that could be answered in this investigation. Now 4b, identify the variables. So independent is a mass only, dependent variable is the volume of air, and control variable will be amount of air in the syringe, size of syringe, and the temperature of the syringe. Okay, now these are your variables. Select the correct response to complete the sentence. When mass are added to the plunger, the pressure will, we know that as the volume decreases, the pressure will increase. Okay, the plunger has an area of this much. Okay, atmospheric pressure is this much. Use the formula sheet to calculate the total pressure in the air in the syringe. If the mass applied is 1.2 kg, assume you should that the G is equals to 10. Now we know that pressure is equals to force upon area, right? Force per unit area. So we can say, due to the addition of mass, the force will be nothing but the weight, which is mg. So 1.2, what we can do is we can use mass is 1.2 times 10, which is 12. So 12 divided by, so you can say this will be force is 12, which is divided by 7.9 into 10 raised to power minus 5. So if you do this, you will get this much amount of N. This will be Pascal, right? So but total pressure will be due to atmospheric pressure plus this. So answer plus the atmospheric pressure is this much. So if you can see, this will be 5 zeros. Yeah, so this will be your answer. Total pressure will be this much Pascal, or rounding off into the correct significant figure, we have to give the answer in. So you can write 2.5 into 10 raised to power. So total pressure will be equals to 2.5 into 10 raised to power 5 Pascal. Okay, so this will be your answer for question 4D. I hope it is quite clear. If you have any doubt, just let me know. Now question 4E, There are two graphs which are presented, volume versus pressure. Use the both graph above to describe the relationship between the pressure and volume of a gas. Now we are only here to describe the relationship, not to prove anything. So we are here to just describe the relationship between the pressure and the volume of a gas. So if you look at this graph, this is 1 by V and this is pressures and this is volume and pressure. So we can say with increase in pressure, with increase in pressure, the volume decreases and it shows an inverse relationship. Now before commenting on, make sure that you do certain analysis on the graph. Take any 2 points and check if the product of those 2 points on the graph is a constant or not, because to support an inverse relationship, the product of y into x, that is the independent and dependent variable, has to be constant. Now if I take any particular value on this, so you can see if I take any value, let us say at sorry, so at 150 the volume is around, this is 80, this will be the midpoint will be this, each is difference is 20, so it will be 5, so this will be 75 and this will be 70, so 72.5. so 150 into 72.5, if you do, that should be equals to something around here, let us say 40 into 275. So if it is nearly coming to the same, and it will come, so you can do the calculations also if you want. What I told was 72.5 times 150 is 10875, okay, and the another one you have to check is 250, or any value you can take, let us take as 350. so 350 is something around, this is the midpoint, I can say, so this is 30, so 350, this is 350 times 30, right? So if you do this, you will get something around 105. So there is a slightly difference, so I can say, yeah, they are under the experimental error and they supports the the inverse relationship, okay. So this is how you can say that is an inverse relationship. No need to take the data because it is just for, I think, 2 mark question. So 1 mark is with increase in pressure the volume decreases and it shows an inverse relationship, okay, or inversely proportional, not inverse, inversely proportional relationship. If you have any doubt, just let me know. Now question number 4F. Another student decided to multiply pressure by volume and present it as a given graph. Boyle's law states that PV is constant for a fixed amount of gas at a constant temperature. Suggest whether the graph supports the Boyle law. Justify your answer. Now if you look at this diagram, the PV is almost a horizontal line. So you can say the product of PV as with increase in pressure is constant. So I can say yes. Let me write it down and then I will explain. Okay, so yes, the graph supports the Boyle's law. As the line is almost, you can say it is horizontal, it shows that PV is constant and it is under the experimental error, okay. Now next question 4G. Use the graph in the part F to calculate the volume of gas when the pressure is 75 kilopascal. You should also include a unit in your answer. So we have to calculate the volume and the pressure is 75. So if you look at this graph, the pressure at 75, this is 100, this is 50, so midway between. So I can say this will be something around, this is just in the middle of the first and the second. So I can take the one division will be, this is 2000, so one division will be 5000, and it is between, so 11,250, right? So I can say, so 11,250 is the value for the pressure times volume, and PV is equals to this much, and pressure is 75, and this is in kilopascal centimeter cube, and this is also kilopascal. So kilo and kilo will get cancelled, so divided by 75, so your answer comes out to be 150. So 150 centimeter cube, right? So we can say the volume of the gas when the pressure is, the volume of the, this will let us remove pressure, the volume of the gas when the pressure is equals to this, you can just copy and paste in centimeter cube. Make sure you write down the units, otherwise you will lose your marks. Okay, so there is a particular range for these type of answer when you look at the marking scheme, but this is the way you have to solve. Okay, now I hope question number 4 is clear. If you have any doubt in any of the part, just let me know. Now moving to the question number 5. Another group of students describe used balloon to investigate the relationship between the volume of the gas and its temperature. They make the following prediction: if the temperature of fixed amount of gas inside a balloon increases, the volume of the balloon will also increase. Now use the kinetic theory. Now when you are supposed to answer, you have to use the kinetic theory that you have studied to explain the prediction. So we can say, yeah, as the temperature of inside a balloon increases, I can use as the temperature of a fixed amount of gas inside a balloon increases, the average kinetic energy of the particles increases, resulting in more collisions with the walls of the balloon, exerting more pressure outwards, hence increasing the volume of the balloon. Okay, so I hope this is quite clear. So I have used the kinetic theory to explain the prediction. Now question 5b, just pause the video and watch, just pause the video. Now the question 5b, the measuring the volume of the balloon directly is difficult, so the student plan to measure the circumference of the balloon instead of measuring its volume. So this is the way they are measuring the circumference of the balloon. Now pause the video and you can write down with me, and then we can discuss the whole designing the experiment for this particular question 5b. Okay. Now to save time guys, what I have done is I have written the answer already and I will discuss with you so that you will get an idea how to write the answers related to criteria B. Now if you look at the bullet points in the question, we will answer in the same manner. Now the research question will be, how does the temperature of a balloon affects its circumference? Now my independent variable will be the temperature of the balloon, dependent variable will be the circumference of the balloon, control variable, any one you have to write. I have mentioned all different types, you can write any one because in the question if you look, only one control variable has been asked. So this will be my variables. Now equipment, if you look, equipment is nothing but the balloons, oven, thermometer, measuring tape, stopwatch, heat resistance gloves and safety goggles for your Last two are for your safety measures. Now, method for collecting the data. Now, I have divided the method of collecting the data as well as how we will collect sufficient data into one heading. Now, first is the preparation. So, I made preparation. So, ensure that all balloons are identical in size and material. Now, when you are answering your method, you should make sure that you are taking the control variables in consideration when you write down your method. So, ensure that we have taken all identical in size and the material. We set up the oven and preheat to a desired temperature that we will change. Let us start with 30 degrees Celsius. Measure the initial circumference of each balloon using a measuring tape. Now, how we will put your safety goals? So, we have considered the safety measures into our answers and heat resistance gloves to ensure safety during the experiment. Place the first balloon inside the oven. Expose it to predetermined temperature for a specific duration. Now, this is also one of your control variable, that we are keeping the balloon for a fixed amount of time for each hour trials and each hour readings. Carefully remove the balloon from the oven and measure its circumference immediately, because as you take out the balloon outside from the oven, it will start to decrease its temperature because of the surrounding room temperature. So, we have to write down such that we will measure its circumference immediately when it comes out from the oven. Now, data collection is very important. Record the initial and the final circumference of the balloon after each temperature exposure. Repeat the experiment with different temperature, which is 40 degree, 50 degree, 60 and 70. One we have taken for 30. So, in total we have 5 different independent variables. Conduct 3 trials. This is very important. We have to conduct 3 trials for each reading. Let us say for 30 degree, I will take 3 readings for the same temperature, and I will take out the average for the circumference of each reading. So, that will improve and increases my reliability of my data. Safety measures, although if you want to make a separate heading, you can do, although we have discussed this in the method as well. Nothing but wear safety goggles to protect your eyes from the potential burst or leaks. Use heat resistance glove when handling the balloons to avoid burn. So, these are certain examples you can add on your own, but that should be logically applicable for this particular investigation. Like for example, if I say, you can also write about for precaution you should keep a fire extinguisher with you, or you should read the manual how to operate the oven carefully. Okay, so these are certain safety measures that your method should be safe. So, I hope this is quite clear how to write down. You can get the answer in a form of a PDF. I will share the link in the description below. You can check it and you can answer accordingly. Okay. Now, moving on to the next question, number 6. When the air inside the inflated balloon is released, the balloon accelerated forward. Okay. So, I just play the video. Okay. Now, if you look at question number 6a, use the Newton's laws to explain the motion of the balloon. Now, you can use, there are 2 ways to answer, either using the Newton's laws of motion of second law or the third law. I will write down, it is more prone towards the third law. So, explain the motion of the balloon, I can say as, let me write it down and then we will discuss. Okay. So, as the balloon is released, the gas explosion caused the thrust to move the balloon forward. This is an example of Newton's third law. So, action and reaction pair we can say if one force is acting force on another object, the another object will also act the same force on another the first object, that is the action and reaction pairs. So that is what can explain the motion of the balloon in this particular question. Okay, now moving on to the 6b part. So you can see here, a group of students decide to investigate the distance traveled by the balloon filled with different volume of air. They use the following equipment. As you can see in the animation, I can do it once again. So state a research question that the students are investigating. So I can say, how far does the balloon travel with different circumference, because we cannot directly measure the volume of air. So how far does the balloon travel, or how much is the distance covered by the balloon with different circumferences, or the size of the balloon, you can say. Okay, so this is my research question. Now you can see here, the student take the data and one of the balloon has not been recorded. So according to the given picture, so if you look at, this is the 0th mark, this will be the first, so this is 38, and you can see these are in centimeters. So I can say this is 38, 38.1 and 38.2. So I can write here 38.2 and that too in centimeters. Okay, so this is the reading, which is the tape measure is given in centimeters. Now we have to organize and present the data from the experiment into a table, including the result from part C. So when you are making a data table, organizing and presenting means you have to organize in either of the way, increasing or decreasing order. So what I will do is, I will make, how many data are there, 3 plus 3 6 and 1 for the head column. So I will take 7 and this will be like this. So what I will write down here is my independent variable, which is my circumference, and in bracket I will write the unit. I will write down the answers in centimeters. Units will be centimeter. This will be my distance, and this distance I will write down in meters. Okay, now starting with the least one. So if you look at the least one, which one will be, because these are in meters, so do not get confused. So the least one will be 35.8. okay, so just a second, yeah, 35.8. no need to write down centimeters because we have already mentioned in the column heading. Distance for the corresponding is 107, or you can say it is in meters. So I can say this will be 1.07 divided by 100 will be in meters, so 1.07. then next will be your 35, then 38.2, 38.2 and 1.30. Then after, or you can write down in a rough paper which is given to you, and then you can directly write at once. I am directly doing, so let me write it down. This will be 41.0 and 1.97, then it will be 50.3, will be 3.10. don't write 4 because we are doing up to 2 decimal places, so your significant numbers has to be the similar. So you are not supposed to write 3.104. if you write it down, you will lose your marks, guys. So be very particular when you are organizing. All the data must have the same number of significant figure. Now then 54.9, then it will be 3.99, then after that it is how many, 58.2, then it will be 5.06. So if you look here, I think we have covered all the data, 336. Okay, you can just cross check once you enter the data. So I think this is the answer for 6D. Now 6E, before their investigation, the students suggested the following hypothesis. If the circumference of the balloon increases, then the distance traveled will increase because the resultant or net force will be greater with an increased volume of air. The distance traveled will be directly proportional to the circumference. The student plotted the three different graphs using the data. Use the graph of the student's data below to evaluate the validity of their hypothesis. Now guys, if you look, they are saying it's a directly proportional relationship. Now the first thing, for the directly proportional relationship, the distance and the circumference should form a straight line that should pass through the origin, or in other words, their slope should be constant. But if you look at the graph B, the graph B is with respect to centimeter cube, and the circumference is not in centimeter cube, circumference is in centimeter. So this is the graph, but it is not a straight line. So what we can comment is, we can say the hypothesis, let me write it down first and then we will discuss. So the hypothesis is not valid as the graph between distance and circumference is not a straight line passing through origin. Okay, so I think this much is quite enough. Now if you look at question 6F, the student want to extend their investigation. Suggest variable that student could use to extend. Now when we are saying extend, we are using a different independent variable. So instead of circumference, we can change the temperature of balloon. Okay, then distance traveled is our same dependent. Control variable, this time we can say the amount of gas filled, or you can say the circumference of balloon. And second we can say is the type of balloon or the type of balloon material. These are supposed to be constant, or you can say the pressure of, we are supposed to write down two only, you can also write the pressure of balloon. So formula to hypothesis as per your extension. So what we can say, as the temperature, so we can say as the temperature of the balloon increases, then the distance traveled will also increase because the gas will have more kinetic, the gas particles will have more kinetic energy and thus greater thrust force, which will cover more distance. Okay, so the gas particles will have more kinetic energy and thus greater thrust force, which will cover more distance. So this will be my answer for 6G. I hope it is quite clear. Now question number 7. The frequency of any wave can be found from a graph of the wave position against time. Use the formula sheet to calculate the frequency of the waveform shown below. Give your answer to two significant figures and include a unit. So if you look at we know that frequency is equals to 1 upon time period. So if I find out the time period, so time period will be equals to, if you look at the graph, it started from here and it comes back to this position. So if this is 1, this is 2, this will be 1.5, and this is in between 1 and 0.5 and 2, so this will be 1.75 second. So you can say frequency will be equals to 1 over 1 1.75, which will be equals to so I can say this will be 1 divided by 1.75, sorry 1.75. So this is equals to 0. This much. So frequency is equals to 1 over time period. This is time period. So this will be in hertz. Okay, so I have to do this in two significant figures, so I can write frequency is equals to 0.57 hertz. So this will be the answer for 7A. Okay, now 7B, select the waveform which has the same frequency as we got in the part A. So if you look, this is 6, this is 1 less than 1, this is 1, and this is 1. Yeah, so the nearest one is the C. Option C will be the right answer. Easy one. Now 7C part, look at this animation, there is no audio. Pause the video if you want to read the question. Okay, so we have to put the following statement in order to outline the process taking place in the animation above. First one is converted into an electrical signal by the microphone in his mobile phone. The phone that converts that electrical signal into a radio wave. The radio wave is transmitted from the mobile phone to tower A. Then tower A receives the signal, then sends the signal, and then Natasha's phone receives the radio wave signal and converts it back into a sound wave that she can hear. So I hope it is quite clear. Now the use of radio waves enables high speed communication, but the technology requires the location of the phone to be detectable. This has consequences for security and data protection. So I will play this video for you.
There are networks of cell towers all over the world. Mobile phones work by sending signals to and receiving signals from the nearest cell tower. When the user moves from one area to another, the phone disconnects from one cell tower and connects to a new cell tower to maintain a strong signal. A consequence of this technology is that the location of a phone, and therefore the user of that phone, can be detected at any time. Even a phone that is switched off but has its battery inserted can be located. User location information can be used in navigation apps and fitness trackers. Even applications not directly used in navigation can track the location of the phone and map the movements of the user. It is not widely known that this personal movement data can be bought by companies who have an interest in it. People in large gatherings can be tracked, and this information can be used to identify where they live and other personal details.
Okay, now this is the script. You can go through it and pause the video if you want to go through it once again. Okay, now question 7D. Now guys, if you look at this, you can pause the video and read question number 7D. I have already written the answer so that we will discuss once you read it. Okay, now if you look at, we have to answer the criteria D question. Guys, I have made a separate document how to answer criteria D. The link is given in the description. If you go there, you will find the most probable criteria D questions for this particular next May 2024. So you will get an idea how to write. In that I have discussed all the bullet points like economic implications, advantage, disadvantage, political implications, environmental implications, ethical implications. So these different points, and I have observed that MYP is asking the questions related to these only. So how to frame your answers, there is a separate document. You please refer that. The link is given in the description. And if you want the answer for this particular question which I am showing right now here, you can download the PDF. Again, the link is given in the description. Okay, so just read this and you will get to know the advantages are the convenience. So it will be like I am highlighting the most important part. It will be convenient for the location based recommendation, traffic updates, proximity based demand. So you are supposed to write out any two advantages and you have to explain that. Emergency services, it can potentially save the life, it can locate the location quickly. Family and social connection, it helps us to stay connected and aware of each other's whereabouts as sense of security. Okay. Now disadvantage is the privacy concern. So anybody can check and monitor our movement. Abuse and stalking is another disadvantage of the location tracking technology. Data security risk, again you have to write down any two I have mentioned so that you will get a more idea. When we talk about economic benefit, now here it is asking for the companies guys, not for an individual. So it can help the company for the targeted marketing, they can target their audience. Okay. So operational efficiency, their efficiency can increase by the chain management, fleet optimization and overall operational efficiency for the business, where they have to put more resources, okay, where they have to increase their budget. So these will help them to take those decisions. The customer insight, what the customer is thinking, what is their next move, what they are looking for, they can track and they can collect these data and they can provide the product and service accordingly. Now when we are talking about positive and negative security implications for a country, now as a nation, as a country, what can be the positive and negative security implications? So positive is law enforcement, so it can be a help in solving crimes and location missing persons by tracking their mobile locations. National security, it can use location for data monitoring and responding to security threat, especially in times of crisis. Okay. Negative implications, if we talk, it is concern regarding the surveillance. Mass surveillance using location data raises concern about civil liberties and potential for abuse by any authoritarian regimes. So if whosoever is controlling that, they have a lot of power and they can misuse the same. Data breaches, this is one of the major popular concern nowadays. The storage of location data increases the risk of data breaches, which potentially severe consequences for national security. Those data can be used for monitoring, or you can say changing the elections in the country. During the election time, it play a very critical role. So these are some of the negative implications. Now the overall appraisal is very important. The use of mobile phone technology for location tracking is a complex landscape with both benefits and risks. Striking a balance between individual privacy and social interest is crucial. Now, with the technology offers convenience, economic benefits and security advantage, it also poses serious threat to privacy, personal security and civil liberties. A comprehensive regulatory framework is necessary to address these concerns, ensuring that individuals have control over their data while allowing responsible use for social benefits. Companies and government must prioritize data security and ethical consideration to build trust and mitigate potential negative consequences of widespread location tracking. So this appraisal should conclude whatever the arguments you have put up in all your above points. So this is how you have to write down criteria D. I know it's a bit of tough for the students, but you have to practice this. This will come when you read a lot and you practice a lot of writing, and that too in a given time frame guys, because you have a limited time in your exam. So you cannot be just let them think and you are not supposed to write. So you have to be very concise in writing, and my suggestion is you just write down the bullet points in your rough paper first for each particular points that are supposed to be included in your answer, and then frame your answer accordingly. And you should save time and complete your criteria A, B and C in a sufficient time. So at least 45 minutes, minimum 45 minutes is required for a good quality answer for the criteria D. 40 to 45 minutes minimum are required. So make sure that you complete and strategize your writing in such a manner. So for more details, if you want to discuss how to write, how to develop your criteria wise skills, you can connect with me. The informations and the links are given in the description. Okay. I have also put it the examiner report. I am not going to discuss. You can find out the PDF. So that will give you an idea after checking as an examiner what are the overall comments an examiner put on the performance of the students over the world. Okay. Now moving on to the last question, question number 8. Just pause the video and read the information. Okay, I am playing the video. It has no audio in it. Okay. Okay, now some people have suggested that any scientific information that is shared through the internet should be checked for accuracy. Information that is incorrect or misleading should be removed. Discuss and evaluate the benefits and limitation of controlling scientific information that is shared through the internet. Now it is of 8 marks. Now we have to discuss and evaluate. Okay, so again I have written down the points. Just go through it first and then we will discuss. Okay guys, now first I mentioned about the benefits. So benefits are accurate information dissemination. So implementing controls ensure the accurate and reliable scientific information to be shared, reducing the spread of misinformation and promoting a more informed public. Prevention of harmful beliefs. Controlling information help prevent the dissemination of pseudoscientific ideas and conspiracy theories such as flat earth theory, which can have real world consequences, especially in the areas of public health and safety. Now guys, you have to link this with the question. Okay, you can write any 2 benefits and you can explain one of them in detail. I have mentioned 4, no need to mention the 4s in your answer. I just give you a brief ideas and the ways in order to answer the questions like this. Okay, so I have mentioned the benefits. You can go through it once again. Then again, for limitations, more at least 2 are required and the explanation of any one of them. So if you look at the marking scheme, you will get an idea. Now limitations, I have censorship concern, dynamic nature of science, implementation challenges, diverse perspectives. So you can go through any of them. You just pause the video and you can just go and read it once. Then comes the conclusion. Now conclusion should make both your positive benefits as well as your limitations. So controlling scientific information on the internet is nuanced and challenging task that requires a delicate balance between promoting accurate information and respecting freedom of expression. While there is a clear benefit in preventing the spread of misinformation and protecting the public from harm, there are also significant limitations related to potential censorship, the dynamic nature of scientific knowledge, and need to embrace diverse perspective. So now we have mentioned both benefits and limitation. Now what is our personal judgment? So efforts should focus on promoting digital literacy and critical thinking skills to empower individual to evaluate the information they encounter. They should not blindly believe in this. They should use their own brains, their own understanding. So we should promote digital literacy and critical thinking skills in the individual whosoever are using those information. Rather than strict control, fostering a culture of open dialogue, transparency and collaborative fact checking can be more effective in combating misinformation while preserving the principle of free speech and dynamic nature of scientific inquiry. It is essential to strike a balance that protects the public interest without stifling the exchange of ideas that drives scientific progress and innovation. So we provide some certain solutions to our limitations that we have considered. So this is how you have to write down a conclusion. So I hope in this whole video you get a better understanding of how to write down the answers for each criteria. You can go through the examiner report. I will attach a PDF. The link will be provided to you in the description. And this is the overall guidance, which is according to the criteria D. The guidance are given to the teachers and the students for the upcoming papers. You should keep those things in mind, because this year the students failed, or you can say not failed, the students are not able to answer criteria D because of this. So you can go through the guidance. And that's all from my side for May 2023 paper Physics E-Assessment MYP. And I hope you like this video. Please share this with your friends, your classmates, your teachers, so that it reaches to the masses, and that's the only purpose of making this video. And if you want such videos more, please comment below, and if you want to connect with me, the details are given in the description. That's all from my side. See you in the next video. Take care. Bye bye. All the very best for your exam.